Well, hello everyone. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Yep, it's Flying with Mike coming on kind of out of sequence. We don't normally go this late on a Sunday. I know many of you are wanting to get to work tomorrow or in the process of that. Hang on. Sorry. Sorry for clearing my throat like that. If I was cleared on your ears, sorry about that. But thank you for taking some time tonight. We are, like I said, over in Europe, prepping the Neos. I love the call sign. Uh, we'll see if we get to use it. Moonflower. And we're going to head over to Thessalonica. Today in church, we were in Thessalonians. So I thought, hey, what the heck? I know a place and I know exactly what we can do tonight. So I put the flight together. Things kind of came together where there was a little time. Oh, excuse me. I don't mean to yawn in your ears, folks. Oh, Lord have mercy. Hang on a second. I want to double check. Good deal. Wanted to make sure I hit the right buttons to change the title from what I was originally thinking and to what you see now. So let's get together here and let's do some flying. Hey, it's Europe. It's VATSIM. Let's have some fun. Venice to Thessalonica. Nice little hour and a half flight. And the latest up to date is Zibo. So I hope you all enjoy version 2.0 here. I'm not even going to go into all the numbers. It's generational, and tomorrow there'll be probably another one, which is great. That means they're constantly looking at what they're putting out. Unlike a lot of um, uh, aircraft makers for the flight sim who put it out there and we'll get back to it in about 10 years. I'm being very facetious, but they don't get back to it very quickly. Um, so it's really nice to see that. Plus, this aircraft's free, and you're going to find it probably better than PMDG. Hate to break that one to y'all. This is a phenomenal aircraft that the team there at Zibo has put together, continually testing, continually updating. Like I said, I've gone where we flew this plane 2 or 3 times in a week, and each time it was updated. Because I try to fly the latest, greatest, what's the best chance of what you'll find. So you can get an idea what to expect. So, all right. So, by the way, I've been in the flight simming world nearly anywhere from 27, 28 years, if I did my math right, from about the late 90s all the way up till now. Started with Flight Sim 98, maybe 2000. That one's still up in debate. But anyway, went through them all to FSX. Still say a century of flight blows anything that's been released by Microsoft, and still to date. So that's not saying a lot. So, but anyway, FSX came along. We all know the history. 13 years without an update in that world. Ooh, X-Plane was doing updates. Because I tried it out in X-Plane 6. Wasn't really happy with it. Quite frankly, I thought it sucked. Um, and that's why it took so long till 2020 for me to switch over. Not Microsoft, the year 2020. Just so happened Microsoft was releasing their first sim in 13 years. And there's a story behind that too, you all may one day want to read into. But anyway, um, and what I saw wasn't great. So I jumped ship, went to X-Plane 11 at the behest of Hawker 125, and that's all she wrote. I won't go back. I haven't really, they haven't wowed me enough to spend that kind of money on a sim. Sorry. Uh, and it's not just the sim you got to buy, you got to always buy a new computer with them. So uh, that's part of my problems with them. So, anyway, that's my story in about 2 or 3 minutes. Started streaming also in 2020, and I've actually enjoyed it. I really didn't know what to expect. Again, at the behest of Hawker 125, and I'm still kind of learning this thing called streaming and X-Plane, to be totally honest. Um, this is a whole different physics to fly in, and it is so much better than I've ever flown it. X-Plane 12 came along and even amped it up more. Now, right now, you can't see the clouds, you can't see a lot. The ATC, folks, is out of this world if you don't want to fly VATSIM. And you want to try it out, you're going to be like, if you're a real pilot, you're going to go, holy moly, this is pretty doggone. Wow. I'd love to do a VFR flight. They always cancel everything on me, so I'd love to try something VFR to see how that works. Now, granted, VFR means I really don't need to talk to them, except when you come into the class A, B, or C's, or D's. So, hey, you know what? That's enough jibber jabber. Let's get up in the cockpit and let's start showing this plane off. Radio Italia. Neo. All right. So here we go. All right. So up here in the cockpit, hey, folks, you all should know it. Those of you that fly these 737s, it's the 737-800 cockpit. NG, actually, because you're going to find this on a lot of the 737s. Now, you're not going to find this on the 400, although it's a slightly less, to some have told me, complicated. And I get it. 300, 400 were the older generation, and yeah, they would be a little different on the upper panel, the whole plane, actually. So, but let's get to work here, shall we? Bringing in Sim Toolkit. As you can tell, we are on VATSIM. And why did I click that again? Doggone it. All right, so here's our flight from way up here to way down here in Thessalonica. Greece, by the way, if you don't know it. Not Greece on the movie, the country Greece. All right, so today's flight will have 27,400. Had to think for a second. I got myself ahead of myself. We're blocking nearly 16,000 pounds of fuel. 137 people are going to grace us today, headed down to Greek holiday, and 27 for the cost index at 37,000 feet. Not sure. I think I see where ERANA is right before TOD down here, so we'll kind of watch what happens. Weather-wise, I know this much. Down there in Greece, it's a little, well, you'll see in a minute. Here, clear skies, visibility okay, 020 at 7, we'll be on 4 right, nothing significant. And looking out the window, and yes, I have set the time so it is daytime so we can see the aircraft. Now, down in Greece, of course it says nothing significant. I really would love to know the parameters for that, because we have an overcast sky at 2,000, scattered at 800. We've had thunderstorms, nothing significant. So that's why I say I'd love to know what the parameters are. we got a ceiling here at 2,000. Now, granted, that's simple instrument flying. I was a private pilot, so there ain't simple instrument flying with this guy. So we'll see how this works out. All right. So again, 320. So we'll plan the runway 34. So we'll probably have to come around the airport somehow, come in towards the north. All right, one last look. We got this nice little batch of weather in between us and there. Let's get to work. All right, I haven't really done much, folks. Ah, there goes my cell phone. There we go. And again. All right, there. All right. Let's get, like I said, to some work here. All right, so basically when I come in, here's what I do. Come up here, put our IRS to off, display select to heading status, come down here, shut off the fuel pumps, put our AC/DC switch to ground power, trim air on. Once we retract the flaps, for some reason they keep setting to 10. That's the only thing I don't understand. Oh, my nose is draining. We have had a topsy-turvy weather weekend here, and it's not ending because we're about to nosedive on temperatures for a couple more days. So anyway, continuing on. So that's basically what I do. And then I also set the cockpit lights. Okay. Now, at this point, I will do some tests up here. First, flight recorder on. I always find it interesting. Probably to me, the most important alarm to go off is the quietest. I just kind of shake my head at that one. When it's stalling, I know, granted, your stick is shaking as well, but that should be the one that tells you the most. Talk to Air France. Well, you can't. They didn't make it. An Air France flight from Brazil to Paris, and the aircraft stalled. And quite clearly, the crew did not understand that. So, because obviously everybody died. So, why isn't that louder? Maybe an aural stall warning, stall. You know, some of these aircraft, you know, you shake your head at sometimes. But anyway, continuing. Gear green, all looks good. Service and dome lights off. All right, let's go to align. Waiting for align to show here. The number up here is the number of minutes for those of you new to 737 flying. Okay, and then we can take it to nav. ELT armed, surfaces look good, and we'll press into the middle. We got 8 minutes, so let's take advantage of it. We're coming down. Actually, you know what? Let's take advantage by loading the plane. All right, this is one of those features that I just kind of went, wow, with ZIBO. What a great idea. What a great addition. So first off, you guys over there with PMDG, you haven't had a EFB except into the last few months. We've had this since I started in 2020. So kudos to the ZIBO team. Now, what they've added here in the last 6 months or so, maybe I'm over inflating it, but anyway, within the last 6 months, is this new thing called airside services. You click on it. Okay, you're all going, well, that ain't anything. Click the triangle. And then click Load OFP. Now, if you have a SimBrief account, and if you don't, I am going to shame you. Shame on you. It's free. It is a really good flight planning program. To not have it is kind of mind-boggling. TOLUS, let me just do it this way instead of being just X-plane. Many aircraft in the flight simming world have an ability to pull from those SimBrief accounts, just like their real counterparts, and load it for you so you're not, say you're in a 747 in Hong Kong, and I have done this, I don't know how many times, and you're going to fly to Frankfurt. It's about 7 or 8 pages of fixes and airways, well, at least 5, that you got to put in by hand, that now through this system, now granted the 747s I fly, I would still have to do it, but for the case of the example, you would just click load in it, load plan or whatever your plane has, and poof, it reaches out to SimBrief, pulls it into your aircraft, and loads your aircraft for you, especially the Zibo here. The others maybe not so much as sophisticated as this, but this is remarkable what it does. All right, so we're going to verify now. We saw all the information on Sim Toolkit. Zero fuel weight was going to be 122,443. Looks good. Payload isn't showing. However, 137 passengers, if you remember, 15,951. I said close to 16,000. That looks good. Let's hit activate. And I'm going to do this just to help you out. All I did, folks, was click activate. The jetway comes up. Eventually, the fuel truck, the flight attendants, the door will open. They'll start it. It is remarkable. Let me just go ahead and cast us outside, because we're going to see the belt loader come up and then the caterer. Just a remarkable thing. There's the caterer. There's the fuel truck. And I'm not certain we're going to see the loader or not. We should. But that's just remarkable, folks. That is just by hitting activate. Now, this is great. Tells us we're going to get 1,122 pounds of cargo to make that number. But if we click here, now it's telling us it's refueling and cargo loading. There's the belt loader. Z, plural. Now, if we were at an airport or parked where there isn't jetways, stairs would be out there and buses pulling up. Remarkable what it does. So, but I digress. All right, let's continue on so we can be ready on our end. Okay, so, and looking up top here, 2 minutes to go. Let's quickly do our stuff here. We are at LIPZ. Okay, and what I do is drop down here, look at what day it is, go with it, and return route. And we are going to LG Tango Sierra. Now, technically, I don't have to fill this upper part in. Why? Because I have a flight plan request. But I'm going to wait just a few seconds, finish up a couple things. So I just wanted to make sure we were ready when it was ready to do its thing. because it's about to align. If we look up there, 1 minute. So when we come back, it should be there. All right, cabin and IFE are both on. Supply for the equipment cooling and exhaust normal. We'll touch base with these in a moment. Our switches are off. I've got our logo position on, landing lights off, fuel or window heat on, pitot heat off, and engine and wing off. Fuel pump or hydraulics, as you see. Trim air, recirculators are both on, auto, trim air on, packs on, isolation valve to open. Engine bleeds on. For now, APU bleed off. 37s are aiming airport or altitude 38,000 is what I'll set for the flux in the different altitudes. 50 feet's good for Thessalonica, and the upper panel is now ready. And you can see we're aligned. So I'm going to come back up, 2 clicks back to PPOS, and there's what you're all should be familiar with, even those of you from the INS world. Coordinates. All right, so now the basics. All right, last thing up here. Thank you, sir. All right, we'll kick our fuel pump on. All right, everything seems to be running fine. We're just going to wait for the APU. Once it's up and running, we'll be good to go. Okay, gauge is right here. It's going to get up near 6 and then trail off to about 5 here, and then we'll get a blue light in between the others, right above it. So I hope you all had a safe and stayed warm kind of weekend, especially here in the States. Those of you out in California, boy, my heart and prayers do go out for you. That is horrific what happened out there with those wildfires. All right, APU's ready for us. Now we'll kick the bleed air on, get our pressure, and move up to APU Gen. All right, now the other thing we can do now if you notice the hint, in order to get the passengers to come on, move the no smoking switch to on or auto. That is what kind of helps me out here a little. Lets me get some more steps done so that when that lady back there tells me everybody's aboard and closes my door, big difference, she'll say it twice. The second time is when the door closes. Packs will read 100%. However, let's go home, ground services, kick the GPU off. Always be careful with that. Make sure you were on your gen here, otherwise you go dark. Okay, so we're on with the APU, and let's begin working our flight here. And I want to again say welcome aboard. Thank you for taking some of your Sunday to be with us. And I hope we can make it enjoyable. All right, so let's hit plan request. Takes a few seconds, just like it does. It's not an instant thing. There we go. There's the route uplink. Click load. and activate, execute, and clear. Now, first thing I'm going to do is what is going to be our departure. I want to verify the information's in there correct. Should be on the ROSKA 7 left departure. Well, 7L. We shouldn't be on the 7 left. Let's make sure. But again, I'm going to go ahead and put the route in there for you. ROSKA. Okay. Pretty simple. Here, I'll show it to you. Call this part of our departure brief. All right, so we're going to take off runway 4042 degrees to PZA 488, no faster than 200 till we get past 489. So we'll fly out here, make our turn at 3,400 feet or higher, make our turn headed down to ROSKA. Pretty simple flight here. Valid for runways 4 left, 4 right. Always double check that, folks. And if you have ATIS, it would show up here as arrive, depart, arrive. And double check that, especially if VATSIM's up, they're using what SimBrief is. Just because SimBrief says it doesn't mean those controllers are going to use it. They're going to do, however, some of them, however they feel versus what's really or what is going on. Not all of them. Matter of fact, that's probably a few of them, but they do make it rough on all pilots. Okay, so let's go here. We're going to do the honors of 4 right, the longer runway. Now, of course, the ATIS may say brief for both runways. And in that case, brief for both runways. Because this airport may be busy enough to warrant them to shoot you off the shorter runway. It's only shorter by... oh, there it is. 1,000, roughly, 2,000 feet, roughly. So, something to keep in mind. We'll brief only for 4 right. All right, so we've got the beginnings of the flight in here. Bear with me. Coming up here to switch into map. Okay, and we'll get our barometric pressure here shortly. Okay, so you can already see the route. What I did is I'm actually going to open this up a little. There we go. And what we'll do is we can actually track our making sure everything looks good, and it does right now. I'll show you in a second. So okay, there we go. All right, so you know what, pull back. There we go. That makes it easier. All right, so there you can see no discontinuities. All right, now we go to legs and start clicking step. And it's going to step us through. There's ROSKA. Okay, so everything's looking good. The big thing you're looking for are discontinuities. And kind of confused what all this is, so bear with me. All right, that's kind of what I thought. All right, let's just hold right here. Now, we're going to go ahead, put in our arrival. Oh, that's what that was. Okay. Let me show. Because we were both probably all confused. What the heck? Okay, before I get after it here. All right, so we're going to come in from ALIKO. And I know you can't see that. Down to 12 TSL, and then we loop around for 3-4. That's what this loop is up here, folks. Okay, now this all makes a little more sense. Okay, we are flying the ALIKO 2H arrival. Okay, so now what we're going to do is figure out ILS, VOR, RNAV, what are we doing? Well, I can tell you right now, no ILS on this runway. So I know some people will probably stay away. On the other hand, I think, let's look at the Yankee first. Okay, first off, yeah, I think I am going to do that slide. So we're going to do, let's look at Zulu. All right, so let's look at this. So let's get in here, departure arrival, click arrival. Now, in theory, you heard how I said it, in theory, if you click over here, say 3-4, all the approaches over here should work only for runway 3-4, unless they're for all runways. Helps narrow it down. Okay, so we said RNAV. Yampo. I hope. ALIKO. To hotel. Okay. Execute. All right. Let's see how this will work. I am going to bump it just one just to get a bigger view. So we're going to leave it where it's at. And what I'll do is, as we get closer, clean this up. All right. So how do we look at it here? Let's go back to legs. And now we'll just next page till we get to this point. Now, previous page, step till we get to ALIKO. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it back on 20 just to help us in determining what the heck we're shooting here. Okay, so ALIKO 303U, that all looks good. Fly the ARC to D176. And like I said, when we get in closer, I will probably put us direct TSO, either from here or from CEFB. Okay. And then everything else looks good into the runway. Missed approach is Felica. How do you say that? Okay. And going to the Theclo and hold. Okay, that all looks good. All right. Okay, now let's get back here to route. Now let's go to the perfint. This page is a little tricky. Let's click Sim Toolkit. Now down here I've added SimBrief to make it a little easier. And then all we got to do is view our flight plan. Now, when you set up your SimBrief account, it doesn't automatically come into Sim Toolkit. It's an actual web browser program. So you'll be working on a browser. Now, you can, by using this little settings cog, they call Tab Manager, to add it. That's your call. It's up to you. Okay, so you got your flight in. You put generate flight. This is what you come up with. Over here, you have performance and tools. You can do the same thing I'm about to do a lot easier. This one, you got to add everything. This one, it's already loaded per all of what's in your flight plan or operating flight plan, OFP. And all you have to do is make sure and click calculate. The only thing not shown here is where is V1, where is rotate, where is V2. I know that's important to see to real instrument commercial pilots. But I'm just going to go with this. Also notice this message. Speeds increase to improve climb limits. So when you put flaps 5, takeoff 2, 48 degrees in, your numbers over here will not be the same. I'm sorry, the numbers in the flight sim for Zibo for any 737 will not be the same because they've been increased to take care of helping you with your climb. Okay. All right. Now, one other thing. Now, it's up to you. Now, as we go through, you're going to see me go to another page in the FMS. You'll get all the way to the end where you put your flaps, your CG, and it gives you all the great numbers. However, if you go to page 2, there is information you can load. And from Sim Toolkit, I talk about this all the time. If you go to the full flight log, it gives you your entire runway information you need. Most importantly, the slope. But in this case, we don't have a slope. It also allows you to put in runway stats. Like, is the runway wet? Is the runway covered in snow? You can put the basics in for that. And some aircraft get even more detailed. But the 737 is pretty simple. But then the real pilots will have charts to help add, subtract, multiply, divide. No, to what they have for the runway in the situation, plus company policy. So I just wanted to point it out where it's hiding. All right, let's get to work then. Unfortunately, that information is not available to, or SimBrief would have to do a lot to put all of that in there. All right. So what do we do here to get this going quicker? Click. And again, it's going to tell you to load, and that's it. There is no activate here. Okay, and it has loaded the data, 122.4. Hang on, 122.4, perfect, 15.9, perfect. The reserve, I'm just going to get it. Basically, what I do is alternate plus FAA reserve. So when you look at your briefing preview in SimBrief, you'll find the fuel section. Look for alternate, ALTN, RSV, and then RSV. Just do thousands, so keep it simple. So in this case, 3.2 plus 2.9, 6.1. And what you're putting in is when you hit that number, you got to start being really mindful, because you got to get to your alternate. So that's how I figured up. I got to make my I got to make it to my point that I'm going to. But then I have to make it to my alternate if I can't get in. And I still need a reserve. And for the US, it's 45 minutes. And that alternate is your furthest one away. Sometimes you may get 2 or 3 alternates. So it's the furthest one away. And I'll bet there's more rules involved than just that. Also, look at your transition altitude here. You can get that from your charts. Also, if you're on VATSIM or one of the other ATCs out there, and there is a controller or somebody controlling the airspace where you're at, read the ATIS, because in it will say TL transition level, and it usually is higher, and on occasion I have had it a little lower, but for the most part it usually is raised. So watch that. Okay, let's go to N1 limits, and our flight plan called us to take off to. Okay, so just click the line select next to it. Select 48 and wait for it. It's going to give you a suggested climb. Climb 2 sounds good to me. And basically, okay, let me explain takeoff 2 and climb 1 and 2, takeoff 1 and 2. Real quickly, think of it this way. Instead of, okay, these engines are very expensive, folks. They're part of the reason the aircraft costs so much. So they want these engines to get to their maintenance cycles, not get there beforehand, because pilots were running them full power. You don't need full power on takeoff with these newer engines. The older ones, yes. The first and second, wherever generation we're at, those older ones, yeah, you needed the power. Today, you believe it or not, you would be shocked how much thrust the blades you see spinning in the front of the engine creates. Just that blade, let alone the whole system. So these guys can actually pull the power back. Now, they're not pulling it back by much. Okay, let's get that misnomer. Look up here. This is what N1 will be, 85.7. 15% less. That's 15% less of 100%, and they can actually go more than 100%. But that's a 15% savings on that takeoff. The climb will be enough power to get it to altitude, but yet not burning the heavy fuel and wear and tear on the engine. No, it's still getting wear and tear, just backed off a little bit. It's all in the, like I said, it's all to help airlines and aircraft maker or leasers to get to the maintenance instead of getting to it early. And sometimes, you know how things are. The old adage, for cars used to be, if it was built on a Friday or a Monday or a holiday coming up, you got a lemon. No, they're not like that. But who knows? You never know. I'm going to leave it there. All right, so I hope I did that quick enough and it made sense. Okay, so we're set here. Takeoff. Click CG, go to page 2. A lot of you won't because it seems too complicated. Runway wind. It's right there on your sim brief. 030 at 8. It's right in the ATIS if you care to read it. I know many of y'all say, I got Oscar. You never read it. Okay, we got 00 here, so we don't have to worry. Just throw the slash in. And the heading is 039. By the way, runway heading, that's on your chart. Oops. And we're on a dry runway. Temperature -1 here. Wow. Next page. We're going out of here. Flaps. There's our N1s. Flaps 5. There's our numbers. Notice we were, according to SimBrief, 146, 149, 156. Increased to improve climb limit. So, I'm going to go 146, 149, 156. I'm going to go with what SimBrief gave me. And then you can turn these off by right here, off. And then all you see is that real quick. Oop. Legs, okay. Last things here, let's go up here, click it. Get the people coming on. And finally, 156. So I'm going to climb out, 166, heading 039er. And we're going to go ahead, set 35,000 unless ATC comes up, which, I never know if they will or not. It is about 2 in the morning, correction. Yeah, about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think there's always a chance. You never know. Minimums set to 400. And all that's going to let me know when I pass that I know I'm now safe to make a turn either into the runway or at least 400 feet. And still you should get the 400 feet because obstacles could be nearby that they're not nice. All right, and we're all set, ready to go. Final checks here, minimums on the fuel reset. Landing gear levers down, speed brake lever up. Okay, takeoff config check. Flaps 0, showing 0. And everything looks good down here. Now, we are not in CTAF country on VATSIM. What is CTAF, Common Traffic Advisory Frequency? Pretty much if you're in North America, you're in it. So for those of you living over here, when you fly the US, Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean, you need to switch over to common traffic or you're not going to hear them on the ground. And many aren't, and many will get on, why am I not hearing all this traffic taking off? Because you're not on common traffic. That also applies to controllers. When you're over in those areas, the US, Canada, Mexico, and Caribbean, if you're controlling, you shouldn't, if tower is not there, and if you're aground, you shouldn't hand them to Unicom. You should be handing them to common traffic. And if you're above the tower frequency, same thing, if you're going to let them go. So anyway, just my lovely take on things. All right, altimeter. $10.29. Okay. And like I said, folks, it tells you we're at 46%. Now, when we're loaded, a sequence shall tell us the door will close. If it doesn't close first, Hawker 125, welcome aboard, sir. Glad to see you're still kicking out there, enjoying this lovely weather. All right, let's see where we are. Just about ready to push. Now, Hawker 125, I told you, is the one that was kind of pushing me to X-Plane and to streaming. So he is also a moderator here. So welcome aboard. Check him out. Give him a follow if you haven't. And kind of pop in from time to time on him. He has a Hawker 125 fuselage, real world, in his garage. One day, sometime between now and the apocalypse, he will have it up and running as a flight sim on whatever system he decides to use. And he has asked that I help and continue to stand by for that. He's for those not sure, he said, I need to move, my garage gets humid. And that's not good with electronics. They do make these air conditioners, sir, that you can just put in a wall and it'll do the job for you. Okay, we're at 81%. All right, but anyway, there you have the latest update. So hopefully, like I said, between now and the apocalypse, he'll have that up and running. Well, we hope you get that up and running someday. All right, should be getting the call here. We're loaded. Not far away. And we'll be pushing back. Head over to runway 4 and get our butts out of here.
Good morning, folks, from the flight deck. Get your captain for the ride. It looks like it should be pretty good. So we're planning on a smooth ride. Get you there as soon as we can and as safe as we can. We'll talk to you once we get airborne. Welcome over.
Door.
Boarding is now complete. Flight attendants prepare the cabins. Verify arm doors, standby for all call.
And what you're seeing there is the door leading to the cockpit. Pretty cool. And it'll be locked now, as well as galley door, I believe, is that side, and over here is the door most people come in through. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off because I need it right now. Okay, let me go back to status. Okay. Real quick, you can see 100% except for fuel. And look at that, the jetway's gone and we didn't have to do anything. The next thing is get better pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, let's get rid of the chocks. Okay, beacons, fuel pumps, packs.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set the parking brake.
Huh. Somehow I triggered the parking brake and don't know how I did it.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, let's make sure here. System B is on, fuel pumps are on, packs are off. Beacons on. Here we go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
And basically we wait for it to stabilize. Okay, we should be stable now. Okay, let's generator and start number 1.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, number 1 generator on. Fuel pumps are on. Okay, let's go through this here. Okay, pitot heats are on. All right.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay, and what we're just watching here, better pushback, that we see the person get out of the buggy, showing us our pins. This, folks, can be a I can make these pushbacks literally come back, turn, push down the alley, turn around, pull up, and go. You know, it's amazing what better pushback can do. By the way, it too is free. And easy to install into your plugins area, and you're ready to go with it. Okay, speaking of ready to taxi, heading bugs are set, VNAV, LNAV set and armed, and now we need to check one thing on our lower. Okay, let's get to the runway. Venice traffic, Moonflower 572, taxi to runway 4 right, for takeoff. Yeah, that really is the call sign, folks. Kind of fun. Going for the hype there, I see, Hawker. Welcome aboard, everyone. Welcome with Flying with Mike. Been flying the flight sim up for about the last 26, 27 years. Got a lot of hours on VATSIM. Streaming for the better part of 4 or 5 years. Hold line threw me off there. I thought we had another line below this. All right. So welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy. Belong to several virtual airlines, Virtual American, Piedmont Virtual, Sim Air Force, Millennium Aviation, and FedEx Express Virtual. Today, we're not actually flying for any of those. I just thought we'd take a nice casual flight to Thessaloniki out of Venice. Hope you enjoy. By the way, this is the free 737-800 from Zibo. Costs nothing except for the price of admission to X-Plane 12. And I will tell you right now, hands down, it's better than PMDG. Oh, they may have a couple features here and there we don't have. But overall, I think this plane is far better than it. All right, we're getting to the end here. Let's do our takeoff checks one more time. Auto brake reject. Runway turn-off lights are all on. We'll be turning the lights on here in a minute. Don't need to de-ice today. Wow. Now, that is one way to beat the 30-minute rule on de-ice. 30-minute rule basically says, folks, once the process starts, not when they're finished, when it starts the application of de-ice fluid, only then, within 30 minutes, if you can get to the runway, get airborne, you're fine. Otherwise, you got to go back and re-de-ice. Places like Chicago are trying to catch up. They are a mega magnet for delays because of de-icing. You wouldn't think a place like Chicago would, but they are. But they are really trying to make inroads on it. They got a huge facility on the west side of the airport for it. Problem is, if they're departing, the west side, if they're departing from the east side, yeah, you're gonna easily take longer than 30 minutes. Venice traffic, Moonflower 572 departing for right. Actually, that is not my call sign. 3379, I forgot about that. One last check. Is that ice on my plane? The heck am I getting ice? There's no precip. Packs are on.
Knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. $400. $1,000.
All right, we are on our way. Hope y'all enjoy. Let me throw that overlay up there real quick for you so you can see. 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that'll get brought down real quick. Okay, after takeoff checks, flaps started, auto brake is off, flaps or landing gear off. Engine starts to auto, which they are not, continues. All right, just kind of funny, we have ice on the windshield, huh? Okay, the reason the speed is restricted till we clear this next fix, that is the maximum we're allowed, and then we'll push on. So again, hope y'all had a great weekend. For those of you in my area, hope you stayed safe and warm and enjoyed. I mean, it is a beautiful landscape outside, and unfortunately we're about to get colder again, but I think I've seen in the forecast where hopefully we'll warm up a bit. I've also seen some other things in the forecast I'll keep to myself because I know some people are not very big fans of this. So, but I have seen some information that you would not want to know. But we are on our way to Thessalonica. Today's verse of the day, for this flight at least, is out of the book of Thessalonica. And I thought it'd be appropriate. And we also had a sermon today at church. So, but I think it's a good verse for us all. Be thankful in all circumstances. Some versions say in all things. For this is God's will for you who belong in Christ. Really pay attention to that. Who belong in Christ Jesus. Very good verse when things are not seemingly going your way or going. Just remember, it's always God's will. But be thankful. God will show you the way through it. Folks, firsthand knowledge. I've been unemployed for nearly 9 months, and God's been working, whether I see it or not, but God's there. And it may just be as much as just put his arm around me and say, I'm here. Everything's okay. You know, it may take just that. So, it's been a very blessed time, and a lot learned, a lot to be thankful for during this unemployment time, and believe me, a lot learned, and things that I missed when I first started out at the airport. A lot of things I missed out on, and I have, through the grace of God, been able to enjoy this go around. So, great verse today. As we climb out, we've already gone through transition, just got the lights off, and we are raring to get to where I think it's warmer. Let's find out again. Weather brief. Okay, well, we left here where it's a 1 degree Celsius, and we're going to land where it's 3 degrees Celsius. They have not updated the weather. This could be fun. Oh, they have not updated the weather there. So we'll see what we're going into. I do also, besides the call sign, I really do like the colors. All right, so through 16,000, we're already down to an hour and a half. So you can see we've only been flying 7 minutes. So the clock is coming down. It's truly, this is one airport I do like going to. I haven't been to in a while, so I'm kind of glad to get a chance to fly back to it here on the sim. And hope you all enjoy as we fly into sunrise. And unfortunately, sunrise in this area is still a good 3 hours-ish out. So, but it allows you to see this beautiful, I like this one, Neos out of Italia. So, time to hit the afterburners. Sometimes, Hawker, the flying itself is what's enjoyable. Getting to meet and greet these fine people in the audience. Um, Feel free to come in to chat, talk with us. Love to meet you. Where you're from, what you're up to, how things are. And have the fun. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Go ahead and push this up. And am I already at that level? Yeah. All right. So we're on our way, and the time will come down more. We're headed up to 37,000. So we're already down under an hour and 20 minutes. So to getting there. So I bet it'll come down a little more. So. Gotta love climb. And the good thing is the descent doesn't seem to stretch it out like the climb does. Climb seems to just get down and get us there quicker, but the descent doesn't seem to, give us, where it gives more time. Lights are off. Okay. All right, we are on our way. We are passing PUL. And working our way over to Greece. It shouldn't take long. We just got to go down the Adriatic a little bit, cut across, and be there. Be there. All right, and if you're interested, flying, I have put the schedule out for next week. Got a great flight tomorrow. I've got to look at it because I know the second one off the top of my head. Oops, that's Tuesday. Oh yeah, we're down in Brazil and flying out of Vierkrops. Those of you who like to fly cargo ought to know that airport. That was and still is a big cargo port for Sao Paulo and Rio, but closer to Sao Paulo. But we're flying in the new thing there. Now, we all knew there was that little terminal just a little north and east or north and west of the terminal for cargo. They have built a pretty big passenger terminal facility other side of the cargo port up, and quite a few flights now passenger fly in and out of there on top of all of the cargo. And we're going to do just that down to Santos Dumont. Look it up, folks. It is a real airport with real airlines flying in, and the runway is 4,000 feet long. It is the other Rio de Janeiro airport. And yes, 737s, A320s land there. And obviously, if they land, they get out. Now, granted, will they go far? Probably not. They'll probably go to Sao Paulo. They go some places within about an hour, hour and a half away. You can't put much fuel on them, but they do operate in and out on top of the regional jets. So, neat airport, fun times. Highly recommend that airport, folks. Highly recommend. Those of you that look for a challenge, that airport will give you that. If you fly full procedure RNAVs in there, there are no ILSs. So you are right next to Rio, very close to the big airport. So that's why you fly the way you have to fly it. So pretty fun airport. I enjoy every time I go there. It's nothing that easily a go around is possible. Even for me, there's only 4,000 feet of runway. So, boy, so be ready, max brakes, all of that good stuff. And just realize pilots do this every day. And then we're over to Australia after that. Head back from Kilgore to Perth, and we'll call it a day then. We'll see if we can get that flight in. Hoping, if everything goes well, I should be able to, but you never know. Things happen, so. But there you have it, folks. That's what's coming up. If you're curious beyond that, down below there, you'll see About. You can check there, or click the schedule and see what we're doing. Those of you watching us on YouTube, hope you like what you're seeing. If you do, hit that subscribe button and like. And then down in the more information, click that Twitch link. That'll give you a link to, one, be able to see our flight schedule. Two, once you know our flight schedule, you know when to join us when we're broadcasting live, and you can join in. We'd love to meet you. Got a great bunch of people over on YouTube. Love to have you come over here. So, anyway, I hope you all enjoy. And we are just about top of climb and 1 hour to go. Boy, we dropped an hour in less than 16 minutes. Does that qualify there, Hawker, for afterburners? All right, we're on our way, folks. Enjoy, and we'll be talking to you here shortly. Meanwhile, we'll get ready to give our level off. Okay, wing lights. All right, so let's kick off the seatbelt sign.
looks like we are anticipating on-time arrival. You're going to have to turn off the seatbelt at this time. Just remember, if you are in your seats, keep your seatbelts fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence with the flight. And if there's anything we can do to make your ride, to let a member of the crew know.
All right, let's get into talk about what we got ahead of us here as we work our way through. We use charts. You've seen it. That's what we did our departure brief with. Let's kind of look at the arrival. Some of you are in instrument training and appreciate seeing charts, even though they're not in this country, but they still help. All right. So as mentioned, we're on the ALIKO 2 hotel arrival. We're going to come down to 12 off of Thessalonika's VOR and then enter a 21-mile DME arc. I stand corrected. How about a 10-mile arc? Where did I get 21? Anyway, we're going to roll in here 10 miles, and I don't know doesn't say, but we'll turn in for the airport. We're going to be flying an RNAV in marginal conditions and hoping for the best. I'm going to go ahead, kick the wing and engine ice on as a safety precaution, just because we're coming in at 3 degrees Celsius. Once we're in, we're going to head for CFUB and follow it in. Okay. Stair step down from 4,000 to 3,500, and then on a 3.8 degree slope, come in on this airport at about 950 feet a minute. Wow. What? Oh, that's because of we're coming over the city. So yeah, we got to kind of think of San Diego. Kind of like their localizer. You're coming in steeper than your normal ILS gradient to make that runway on 27. So you can see the warning here. All right, up here is all the frequencies we could encounter. It's an RNAV. 341s are heading inbound, and 35,000 at TS626. Minimums for this approach, 882. So we'll go ahead, set that in the radio. Might as well set it for 900. Okay, and we have to have at least 2,400 meters. Looking at the weather, it hasn't changed. Yes, it has. It's 36 minutes old. Overcast 200 or 2,000, 3 degrees, 8,000 meters. So we're good on visibility. 320 at 15. Fun approach, folks, coming up. So can't wait. On the ground here off 3-4, we'll exit probably around Alpha 2, Alpha 1, taxi to the terminal. And if you haven't noticed, we are over Sarajevo. I know, can't see the ground beneath all the clouds, but that's kind of giving you an idea where we are. Now, one thing we can do here, now again, it'll be in meters. We can set our landing. Uh, 1024. And our estimation on landing weight currently is 129.1. So we're going to go about 3/4 of the way down. So as long as we don't float too much, that we should be able to get off easily by the end of the runway, if not where we said. Looking at sim brief, looking at 6,800 feet, so should be fine. Planning a 145 VREF, so plan the landing at about 140-ish. Got about 183 miles to go. Okay, this is what I talked about. Let me see what we're looking at. We said 6.1, so we're good. All right. For now, we'll keep the progress page up. As we get closer, we'll switch into the descent, get our stuff set up, and prepare for the arrival. Welcome aboard. Thank you for flying with us, and hope you enjoy the remainder of the 30 minutes of flying we have. So, about 26 minutes, folks. We'll be there. So the clock says up there in the overlay. Hope you all have enjoyed. I mean, at this point, yeah, we're just in cruise, just enjoying the flight, getting some things in the background set up. Thessalonika's coming in at 198 VOR. So, top of descent is 118. Bad attitude in the house. What up? What up? Special stream. Yep, we just had some time, so we thought we'd come up and do a little flying. Level up release something. Okay, well, we're in Zibo. But yeah, we're getting close. About ready to start our descent into Thessalonica, Greece. Got us an arc to fly and an RNAV, 2,000 foot overcast sky, and mass hysteria. So, hope y'all enjoy. So, how'd your stream go there, Bad Attitude? I know you were up and doing some stuff. Oh, you're still going. Well, I know you guys, many of you out there, like, I am just content with the Dash 800 version of the 737. But I know a lot of y'all like the other ones, so to me, they're the same plane, just shorter or longer fuselage. Doors on, doors off, who knows. So you just got done with Final Fantasy 14. Wow. Took me a second to go back to my... Actually, it took me a little more than a few seconds to go back many years to when I learned Roman numerals. And again, for those not familiar, the Zibo that I'm flying, constantly being updated. Couple of days ago, we flew it in version 15, whatever the other numbers are with it. Now we're in 20, and don't be surprised if he's already updated it, or by tomorrow sometime. It's just constantly tweaked. Little features added, then tweak, tweak, tweak. It's just an amazing product, and it really breaks the bank book because it's just the cost of admission to X-Plane 12 or X-Plane 11. I'm not sure if you can even get X-Plane 11, but anyway, it's free. So all you got to do is just add it in your aircraft folder, and away you go. An amazing program, amazing that it's free, and very grateful for that. All right, looking down here, we're 80 miles out, so let me get charts going. As of 23 minutes ago, still pretty much same weather. What? 320 at 15, 8,000 meters visibility, scattered at 800, overcast 2,000, and a very balmy 3 degrees Celsius. Well, at least to some people, that's very warm. So nothing significant other than the fact we have a 2,000 foot overcast. We're going to be doing an RNAV. That's pretty significant right there. So anyway, there's the star in again, ALIKO 2H. Follow it around on the 10-mile arc and then head straight in. Speaking of which, I do need to do a little tweak. You know what? Let me punch up here real quick. Go to map. Drop it down. Drop it one more notch. Okay, I think that'll work. All right. We looked like we were going way out to come in. This should get us right in. So this should... Why am I not seeing Remby? Huh. Oh well. All right. Boom, boom. And back to map. All right. Top of descent lurking at about 40 miles out. Hope y'all are ready. We'll see how this works out. So again, hope your weekend has been a good weekend, safe, and you've stayed warm. Those of you in the colder areas have -12. Thanks, Hawker. Sure appreciate that. Don't let me down. You know it's rigged. Okay. Well, it ain't rigged. It just, I have only done a grease that well. It takes a lot. But anyway, to those out in California, my heart, my prayers go out to you. Boy, what a ferocious fire. So many people affected. Wishing the firefighters out there get it under control. Actually, no, extinguished. And hopefully then we can figure out, one, what caused it, but more how to ensure adequate resources, adequate everything's better for the next time around. Don't know where the problem. I saw what looked like some issues. Not 100% familiar with the agent being used, so but just because I watched Evergreen come through with their 747 here on a on a basically a show for us to get certified for other than California, and learned a lot of just the water side, how that works with what they're doing, and actually got to experience that effect. So that was an awesome display, and wow. All right, we are within or just about 20 miles out. So let me get back down here. So in this version, now there's two types of FMCs you can run across. One with a VNAV button, and this is a little different with a few other things, or this version. Either way, click VNAV, go to the descent page, or click descent. Now, here in anywhere but North America, you will more than likely have to change the transition level. So come over here, pull your charts up, and on it should be what your transition level is. If it says like this one by ATC, look for an ATIS if they're manning it with VATSIM, and they will tell you what they're going with on a transition level. And then request your wins. Now, if SimBrief has wins, you'll get them. If they don't, you won't. And that's just about any aircraft out there. No wind data, so there won't be any update. Okay, now go back to your descent page. You see you got descent now. So if that controller comes on and says descend to such and such altitude, that's a quick way to do it after you set your altitude. Let's go ahead, come on down to 4,000. Now, the other way you can do this, once you set your altitude, like I say, you have two ways. Descent now, click the line select here, or altitude intervene. Okay, third way, wait for it if you didn't get the call. Guess what? I'm going to go ahead, click descend now, execute. There's our descent. You can see our gradient, how far we are above or below, the predicted path, as well as you got it over here, sort of like a glide slope. The goal is to have it right, where you're used to, right there on the horizon line. And as we get closer, to the top of descent mark, the aircraft will probably only do like 1,000 or so feet a minute. Passing it, it will then begin to just steepen up, and you'll see your lines more where they're supposed to be. All right, so we are in descent. We are 11 minutes out, so I hope y'all are ready. Put your predictions in if you're up for that, and hope you enjoy this ride in. See how the glide slope's coming down. So is the diamond over here on the nav display. That's just telling us we're getting into that profile and we've steepened our descent. And one last thing on the nav display here, that green arc, that's giving you an idea roughly of where we'll meet up with 4,000 feet. So we'll kind of play this out by ear. We're not giving altitudes literally until we get over here. 4,000 foot, 210 at CEFEB. However, we'll be turning prior to it so we can get to TS, and TS 626 is 3,500. Hopefully, if everything is set up right, and I did not look ahead, we'll be able to couple to all of this and be able to fly in under at least the localizer. If not, we'll fly in just like we are in LNAV. Enjoy the ride. All right, folks, we're with you here as we enter this arrival.
Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing.
Okay, this is where it gets fun. Okay, we're through 15,000 feet. Checks here. Okay, we'll turn the wing lights on, double check. V card. And let's start getting ready to slow this thing down. I think that first turn is 230, so we're gonna have to take over with speed brakes. Set our auto brakes. All right, so let's prepare for landing, folks. See if there's anybody there. Except for this NOS guy coming in. All right, as we get to the top here, we're going to slow it up to 180, start deploying flaps. Once we're on the inbound, we will hit the landing gear. Brakes are set at 3. We'll get the speed brakes armed, and we're should be good to go. We are looking at an altimeter 1024. So I hope you've enjoyed. It's been a fun run from Venice over here to Thessaloniki. So hope you enjoy, and hopefully we can make Hawker's Day and do a 12 minus 12 landing.
Thousand to go.
Okay, I do show indications we might be able to couple up. We'll kind of watch. All right, here we go, folks. We are coupled. We're on the approach. Go ahead, bring this in. BREF 141. Oh boy. Thessalonica traffic, Moonflower, 3379, 5 mile final, 3-4 in the soup. Should be breaking out in about 500 feet. Well, that's looking promising. Okay, looking for runway environment. We are going to be looking for PAPI or high ALS. Up, got the runway. Lost, so barely see it. We'll get a little closer. But we do see the lights. Laps 30, gears 3, green, brake set, spoilers armed. Our plane. Thessalonica traffic, Moonflower 3379, 3 mile final, 3-4. Welcome to Thessalonica, Greece. And Hawker, your ride's waiting for you right there in front of those hangars. All right, welcome in again to Thessalonica. We're going to go ahead turn in for this gate here. All right, welcome in again, Thessalonica. Get everything set up here to shut down. Flaps trim, APU position report or position lights. Everything's set and we're ready to transfer power over. Shut them down. Actually, wait. There we go. All right, we are in the gates, folks. What a flight. That was fun. We're about to go through it real quick, get the numbers off of it. We just get rid of the overlay up here. All right, again, no ACAR system was planned or used on here, so we don't have that option to see what one of the airlines would have got us at. However, we do have a couple of good trackers. We'll start with Elevatech. Elevatech is a product in development, part of the alpha team, and it looks promising. It's missing a couple things I like, and that's why I use some toolkit. Just trying to figure out how to tell them is the hard part for me. But anyway, let's take a look, see what they brought us in at. 295 feet a minute at 115. Ooh, I got really slow. So that attributed to it. 1.7 on the G's. Overall, what little they give you, it's not bad. All right, now the animal I use, even with ACARs, is Sim Toolkit, and I'm going to show you why I prefer them. First off, you can see the basics you're used to. 297, 114. Wow, I didn't realize I'd gotten that slow. Let's go ahead and complete the flight. All right, here's the flight. Looks good. View details, and what you get with Volanta, Elevatech, and many of them all looks the same here, right? Cool. We're all on agreement. Let's click full landing report. That's right, a full report. First off, we landed 2,100 feet down the runway on the center. That kind of makes me happy. Matter of fact, really happy. The only problem was I got the aircraft too slow. We should have been about 140. And I think that's what attributed to it recording a pretty hard landing, even though personally I thought it was pretty decent. But 1.7 G's. I mean, it's giving you everything. Roll 0.38. Pitch, we had the nose up at a good angle. Our heading, pretty much right on track. For a wind we had. So, I mean, we had a 320 at, hang on, if you'll give me a second to check it. Oh, I can't. I've already gotten rid of it. Okay. But it was like 320 at 11. So, you know, we were going to be crabbing to come in here. So, I mean, to get it on the center line, that's pretty good. 2,100 feet down the runway. Again, also pretty good. And to put the icing on the cake, it actually isn't a bad landing at 300 feet a minute. The 1.7 G's, that would be felt and probably some wing flex. But overall, good picture. But this is what I like. This tells me a lot that, you know, that the others don't. Oh, yeah, they gave me a speed. They gave me a G. But they didn't show where. Because lately, we've been landing back here. So I'm glad to see ahead of the aiming area. there's your pappies, and really, overall, a good landing. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap things up here, folks. Oh, let's take a look outside first. Oh, wait, no, we won't be able to. Let's turn the seatbelt sign off. Any collision off. And let's go ahead and throw some chocks in. See what I mean? How you get the ladders. There's the baggage guys. And here come the buses to unload the people. Now, the funny thing is, and I find it funny, they're going to back up when all done instead of just go forward. That's fine. I mean, to each their own. All right. So we're going to wrap it up, folks, as they unload the aircraft and take the passengers over here to the terminal. Yeah, this is outside loading and unloading at 3 degrees Celsius. Brr. But, I mean, Innsbruck would be colder, and that's all outside too. So, hope y'all enjoyed this flight from Venice, and look for us tomorrow in Brazil. So, for now, God bless you all. Have a wonderful day tomorrow, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Again, God bless. We'll see you then. Hawker, thanks for the moderating, and to each and every one of you that took some time out to say hello and be here, we sure appreciate you. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.